It was just over 20 years ago, though, that a young Patrick Kluivert actually made his Clásico debut. You'd only just moved to Barcelona from Milan only a few weeks before, and of course Louis van Gaal was the coach at the time. How much of a factor was that? How crucial was he in you joining Barcelona in the first place, Patrick?
Well, he was very important for me because he was also the one who made my debut in Ajax. He took me from the youth squad into the first team. And at AC Milan, I was not really adapting so good because they played a different system. I was not feeling that well, and all of a sudden he called me to join Barcelona, and that call, come on. You know the coach, you know the way of playing. It's only a very big club, and for me it was like coming in a bath of warm water to join Barcelona. It was really
an easy decision.
A very easy decision.
Yeah,
yes.
And then of course you had only sort of 3 weeks later your first Clásico at the Bernabéu. But here in Barcelona, tell us what the build-up was like. I mean, you were very young at the time. Sure, you'd already won titles, you'd won a Champions League, you'd won domestic honours in the Netherlands, but actually this is a completely different level. As you say, it's one of the greatest derbies to play in. So how ready did you feel for the game, and what was the atmosphere around you like in Barcelona?
Well, you don't really know the atmosphere if it's a Barcelona-Madrid or Madrid-Barcelona, but you feel the tension after the last game before you have to play the derby or the Clásico. People in the press already building up towards the game, and especially if both teams are in very good condition. They're really boiling up until the match day.
What sort of things are they saying? I mean, was there anything about you and the pressure on you as a young sort of 22-year-old?
Well, it's normal, even if you're an experienced player or not, or new or not, they will put the pressure on you, and that's normal because it's such an important game for both clubs, and it's the game of the year actually. As a player, you're thinking about it, but. And of course you put your pressure on yourself, but the pressure doesn't have to be that high that you get wobbly legs. You have to be focused.
You got to manage it.
You got to manage it, and that's really important. But of course, everybody's preparing, especially if you're new. What kind of ambience you will be coming in, and especially in away games. The fans of Real Madrid are really strong. When you're coming out of the dugout. To do your warm-up, people are really whistling really hard, like never before, And on the other hand, if you play in Barcelona, if you then come out, it's like, wow, what is this?
Yeah, you're being lifted in the air by the crowd.
That's
wow.
amazing, and those are two different points of view of how you can expect a Clásico like this.
Two extremes, right? But the thing is, they're talking about handling the pressure, managing yourself and expectations.
Yeah.
Well, Raúl scored early on for 1-0, and then this dude comes and equalises after 12 minutes. So obviously, you managed the pressure really well. Tell us about the goal and tell us about your memories of the game.
Well, as I just said, the memories of the game was the first impression is that coming out of the dugout, you have to feel like the more they whistle, the more battery you get. Like charging your battery, and that's the feeling that I had in my mind. So I knew that they were going to whistle. And my goal was, I think, if I can remember well, because it's a long time ago. It was a shot from somebody, and I came for the rebound. When you score the 2-2, it's a relief because they thought they would win the derby, the Clásico. And then you spoil it, and in the Bernabéu we had, as Barcelona, we had a little corner up in the sky, and I knew that, when we always score in Bernabéu, you're going to greet the fans, and that's a really special feeling.
Well, of course, Lionel Messi, when he scored that incredible goal in April 2017, of course, held up the shirt, didn't he, and pointed to that little section at the Bernabéu. I guess it must have been the same. And incredible, shows again Louis van Gaal and his influence that he took you off, but he put on Sonny Anderson, and Sonny Anderson was the man who scored the 2-2 goal. So you'd made your contribution, and the man who replaced you also made a contribution, and what a result.
I was not that happy though.
No, probably after the game you could understand, but at the time, no, who likes being sub man? I mean,
exactly.
Well, what about then that La Liga title? Because of course Barcelona retained La Liga that year. You were part of that. Is that one of the domestic trophies that you're the most proud of?
Yes. You know, if you, it was my first year, and if you are champions in the first year directly, you know, and it was Alaves away. I really remember that.
Good memory.
Yeah, it was Alaves away game that we became champion, and that feeling, you know, you come from a big club like AC Milan, join another club, and then become champions directly, and you know that feeling is amazing. And of course, at that time we had a lot of Dutch players, and if things are going good, they talk about us, and if things are going bad, first of all, the Dutch players it was, you know.
Yeah.
So becoming champion was really nice.
I mean, you had some great players around you,
Yes.
not just the Dutch players,
No,
but of course
absolutely not.
Figo was there before he crossed the divide,
Yeah.
and Rivaldo. Now, tell us about that relationship and how that blossomed, because you had such an understanding.
Yeah,
with him.
because you
how
know,
come?
How come it's not that difficult, because if you can play alongside Figo on the right side and Rivaldo on the left side and you in the middle, you know, getting serves from both sides, that was my game. Getting nice crosses from the side, hit a few balls in, and have a good understanding, you know, what double passes and everything, and you know, having the privilege to play alongside those two great players, it was for me very, very good.
I mean, listen, admittedly, after that, it got tough, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Why was it difficult to sustain the success that you'd originally achieved?
Well, of course, if you have won the championship and you know, doing well, you have other teams who have great players as well. You know, I can remember the Valencia with Mendieta, Baraja, Kili Gonzalez, Albelda. That was a great team at that time as well. You know, and you know, I think that at the moment, if you compare when I was playing for Barcelona till now, with all respect, in those days the teams were quite close to each other, and now I feel a little bit of, you know, distance between Barcelona, Madrid, and then Valencia, Atletico Madrid. You feel a little distance, but you know, it was always positive and always good. And you know, if I'm looking forward, you know, I get a smile on my face when I think about the time that I was playing for Barcelona. It was the best time actually abroad than Holland.
You spent 6 seasons.
6 seasons, yeah.
At Barcelona. How did that shape you as a man, as a player, and now as a coach? You know, what did that experience teach you?
Well, I was 21 years old when I joined Barcelona, and that's I think the beginning / prime of your career. And I had the luck that I had good players around me, but as a person and as a player, it develops you great, because you first of all, you get another language, you have to control it.
How did you find that?
Quite easy, because I'm quite easy with languages, and that's the thing that is very positive. But I was feeling like, you know, if I look back now, the time that I was here, it went so fast, and you know, if time is going that quickly, that means that you're feeling great.
You're having fun.
You're having fun, exactly. And yeah, that's the thing that it was my best journey in a foreign club. Of course, with all the clubs that I played for, I played with a lot of happiness and a lot of joy. But if I look at my career, of course, the Barcelona time and also my Valencia time after in Spain was also a very nice time.
Yeah, I guess it's that mixture, isn't it, of enjoying yourself, having fun, but getting to grips with all the things you're learning and the maturity that you're gaining.
Yes.
Because you know you really grow up, don't you, between
Absolutely.
21 and 27. That's when, you know,
It's the prime of your
the boy
career.
turns into a man, and
Absolutely.
it's the time of your career. What about Louis van Gaal himself? Because you mentioned that obviously he's the person who gave you your debut at Ajax. He brought you to Barcelona. What's the biggest thing that Louis van Gaal has taught you, Patrick?
The biggest thing, well, you know, the most important thing that he learned me is that be yourself. You know, be yourself. Train hard. Don't be satisfied with what you did, but try to continue that. And that's, I think, a very important phrase that he gave me. That you don't have to be happy with what you have already. No, you have to try and go and try to be better.
You obviously had various coaching roles by now, and now you're with Clarence with Cameroon.
Yes.
What's the hardest thing about coaching?
You have to be very clear with them and try to be honest. You know, if you be honest, and if it's not directly the thing that the player wants to hear, but you're being honest, I think the player then will really respect you. And for a coach, it's very important to really express yourself, what you want from the player, because it's now we're talking about the player, but then as a coach you need to manage 23 players. You know, not every player can be happy if they're not playing, and you have to keep them on board, because all of a sudden you need everybody on the team.
And what about your future? If you were to sort of, I don't know, gaze into your crystal ball, I don't know if you've got one of those.
I got one.
I've got one out back. And you know, can you see yourself feeding in again to the Dutch, I suppose, DNA that is in Barcelona through Michels, through Cruyff, through Louis van Gaal, through Frank Rijkaard, and with yourself? Can you ever see yourself back here, maybe in that home dugout, in that home dressing room, as a
Never
coach?
say never. That's of course a dream. At the moment we're doing a great job, and I want to be a head coach. Everybody knows that, and I'm really looking forward to be so. But we have to look how the future is going, you know. And I'm really keen on training in a good club with a positive vibe, and try to do very good in coaching.
I mean, I know this is crazy blue sky thinking, right? But just indulge me one moment. You were talking about watching your own son play for Barcelona, Justin in a Barca shirt. Can you imagine managing your son for Barcelona? Has that ever occurred to you?
Well,
in your wildest dreams?
Sometimes in my dreams it came along, but you know, everything's possible in the world, you know. And
how would you handle him?
Like every normal player that's in the squad, you know.
No different.
He's no different. He's my son, but I will treat him like everybody else, like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, fantastic. Listen, before we go, we've got a present for you.
Present.
Got a little present for us. Well, you
Watch
deserve
out.
one. You've given us a great interview. It's just in my little rucksack here. Now, you've been to London, right? Of course, when you were in Newcastle, you probably came through London a few times, and you're aware of a store called Harrods. Harrods. Very nice stuff in Harrods.
If you come to London and you don't know Harrods, there's something wrong, huh?
What are you doing? So we've just got a couple of little presents here.
Nice.
You speak a number of langes. You speak Spanish, obviously. Do you speak Catalan? Do you speak a little bit of Catalan? A few words, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Italian, obviously. I heard you with the Inter Milan fans and stuff. Nice, that was good. Of course, English. Of course, Dutch. Do you speak French?
Yes.
So you know what that means.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's number one. That's number
much.
one. And also number two. Now listen, this is maybe just me because I'm obviously a journalist, a broadcaster. I always think it's important to have a good pen. I think it's just a nice thing. So I bought you a little pen set. There you go, from Harrods. And there it is as well. Just, you know, when you're sort of scribbling down your notes, you and Clarence, you know, with the Cameroon national team, or maybe in the future, you know, when maybe even when Justin signs his Barcelona contract, maybe you give him this pen, then I will feel I had some role in this amazing dream. But anyway, that is for you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We really appreciate it, and please do stay in touch. It'd be great to speak to you again, and good luck with all of your future projects and endeavours.
No problem. Thank you again. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys.